Now, by far, one of the biggest changes we've seen with the introduction of Squarespace Fluid Engine Editor is how we work with images. Previously, on the classic editor, we had access to 6 different image layouts, and we were really confined by the parameters Squarespace set up around those. Now, by contrast, the new Fluid Engine Editor experience gives us complete flexibility and creative control. This is really exciting because it opens us up to a whole new world of creativity, and we really have the ability to make our website unique and stand out. On the other hand, it's a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're used to those traditional image layouts which no longer exist in the Fluid Engine Editor. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through how you can recreate each of those image layouts. And my goal with this is that by the end of it, you're really comfortable working with images and the new editor experience. The first image block we're going to recreate is this inline image block. So just an image, some basic text underneath. We can have the caption overlaid. The only thing we can't do is have a caption on hover. That feature is not available yet. So if we come up, we're just going to click add a block, add an image. We've got our image container, click the plus icon. I'm going to browse stock images, select an image. And you'll see there's some space to the right and the left of my image. That's because the image itself has different dimensions from the image container. So if I click this pencil icon, I can go to design and I can fill the container. And that way I don't have that spacing around the sides. I can also give it a radius if I want, either a radius around the entire image or certain corners here as well. So if I click off for now, I can add a block. I'm going to add some text. I'm going to drag this down under my image block and I'm going to make sure it's the same width. Add some text. I'm going to change the header size here to header 4. I can also change the alignment if I want to the center, and I can also select to scale the text, which is going to have the image span the width of the entire container. So you can decide what you prefer with that. So that is our basic inline image block, and you can scroll over with your mouse to drag and move these anywhere on your page, and you can pull the corners if you want to adjust the size or the height. If you would want the caption to be over, you would just pull this up so that it's overlaid over the image. To adjust this one on a mobile device, you would just come in and check that it's okay. Generally, this one is fine. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you add the text first, the text is going to appear on top. So any content is going to display in the order you added it, regardless of where it's placed on the page. So you can play around with that, make sure you're happy on a mobile device, and then come back to desktop. Now our second image block is our stack image, and the reason I'm doing this one second is it's very similar. We've just got the addition of a button. So all we have to do is come up here, click add a button, drag it down. Again, I can change the span of this, make sure that I'm happy with it on a mobile device. Looks good. Change this to stack. Now we have a stack image. Next up, we're going to recreate this poster image block. So if we come up, grab an image, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger here. And this is where seeing those columns and the grid lines in the back can be really helpful for placement. I'm going to grab my text, pull it over, and make it a little bit wider here. There we go. And I'm going to center everything. I might change this header to say header 2 and change this text to paragraph 1. I'm going to change it to a lighter color so it's a bit more readable, but I can play around with that in site styles as well. And then I'm going to drag my button over. Just going to make this maybe this length, and I'm going to pull this up because it resized a little bit there. And once you're happy with it, pull those extra rows up, change this out to poster image so it's not confusing. What we can do is we can check it on a mobile view. And this is where you see the value of adjusting it for a mobile device, because when we do that, it's no longer a poster image. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to click on the image again, pull it down, pull this back up, pull my button up, and I can adjust the width here if I don't want it to span the full container. Again here, if we wanted to pull this in a little bit, We could do that. And once we're happy with it, pull up any extra rows we don't need. And as you can see, it now looks good on mobile device and a desktop. Now we can go ahead and create our card image block. So with this one, I'm just going to click on the image. I'm going to drag it to the side here. I'm going to make it different size for ease. I'm going to click on my text again. I'm going to hover over, align it to the left this time. I'm just going to drag this to the side, pull my button over. And ideally, I want to make sure that it has equal spacing on the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to take my image here and I'm going to pull it up one so that it's equal. Change this to card, and we now have a card image block. Now the cool thing about this is you can click on the text, click on the pencil icon, and you can actually give it a background if you want, and you can adjust the padding here as well. So if we wanted to, we could click off, pull this all the way to the edge here, pull our button up, click on the text again, make the container a little bit bigger so we've got space, and now that button appears in the text container and we can show a card image block like this. Now if you wanted this to appear below the image, you would just come in here, pull it down and adjust the width of the card image block to match the image on top. If you wanted it to overlay, you would just pull it up a little bit and adjusting the button as you go. And we just want to check it looks good on a mobile device, so we'll click here. See, it does not look good on a mobile device. So what you would do is you would just drag this down, pull it to the width of the container, click on your image block, drag it up to your desired size, pull the button down, and again, remove any extra rows that we have there. So that's our card image block. Now, because we've added this background to the card image block, you'll see it actually looks very similar to the collage image block. So we're going to go ahead and do that one next. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this card image here. I'm going to pull it over, I'm going to pull this over here, and then I'm just going to adjust this image underneath. So I'm going to make this as big or as small as I want. And here we have the collage image block. Again, you can adjust the sizing and placement of all of this. The great thing about it is that we have a lot more flexibility. So say you even wanted this button way down here so that it overlapped here, you could click on this text, pull this up, have it overlap like this. You have a lot more creative freedom as to how your image block looks. And as always, we want to make sure this looks good on a mobile device, so we'll click the mobile view, and again you would just adjust this for how you wanted this to appear on mobile. And keeping in mind, it doesn't have to be the same as how it looks on desktop. Some things might look better on a mobile version versus desktop. So say we just do this for now. I'm going to pull this up to get rid of those remaining rows. And again, it doesn't affect how it looks on the desktop version. And the final image we're going to do is the overlap image block. So I'm going to adjust this image to make it a little bit smaller to work with. We're going to click on this text here. I'm going to remove this paragraph text, change this to overlap. I'm going to click off, click back on the text container, change the alignment to the center, click the pencil icon and change the padding to small. And then I'm going to click into the text, and this time I'm going to scale the text. So it's going to stick within this text container. I can then pull this over anywhere I like. So I could have it overlap here, I could have it overlap down at the bottom. You can really decide where you want to place it. Say if we have it over here. And then what I'm going to do is click off again, add another block, add some text. This is where I'm going to put my paragraph text, and I can pull it down. And what I might want to do is stick it in here and make sure that it's readable. And I can take my button and I can pull that over as well, or I can have it placed over here. So that's how you recreate the overlap image block. And then again, we'll just select mobile view and we'll adjust for that. So this doesn't look too good. We're just going to click, pull this text box all the way up. And here you can decide how you want it to overlay. So again, I'm going to align it to the center, and you can have an overlay like this. You would just pull it down to make it smaller. And the great thing about having it text to scale is it's going to scale with you. So you can do that. You can have it here or here. And our text is at the bottom because we added this last. So I'm going to pull this up, make sure my text is readable here. And pull my button up as well. I'm going to play around with the image until I'm happy with it. This up, And then I've got all of these rows, so I'm going to pull them all the way up. Now this doesn't look amazing on a mobile device if we're recreating that overlap effect, but one of the great things is we can change this completely on a mobile device to make sure that it looks good. The most important thing is your user's experience, and whatever we choose to display on mobile here and play around with this is not going to affect the desktop version. And that all brings me back to the classic editor. Now, you don't have to upgrade your current sections that are using these default image blocks that we had on classic editor. You can keep them exactly as they are. I don't know if Squarespace will ever change that, but if you already have image blocks set up, you can actually duplicate the section and reuse the ones you've already been doing if that's much easier for you. Because if we hit upgrade and upgrade to the Fluid Engine editor, you'll see it does mess up your blocks a little bit. It will try and recreate them, but it doesn't quite work. And so what that means is we have to come in here and we have to basically put them back together again, just using the methods that I showed you in recreating these on the Fluid Engine editor. And again, on a mobile device, you have to come in and play around and fix all of them manually, and so that can be a little bit of a headache. The other thing I'd say is if you upgrade and you hit done, you cannot go back. You cannot go back. So what I recommend doing is creating a new page in the not linked section, playing around, recreating these image blocks, and then once you're familiar with the new Fluid Engine editor, you can decide if you want to upgrade your current sections and if you want to commit the time to come in here and fix in all of these blocks so that they are laid out exactly how you want them to look. I really hope this has provided you with a good starting point in working with images and the new Fluid Engine editor. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comment section. I'm here to help in any way I can.